Welcome to the Lytes Out podcast. This is Chris Lytes Out Lytle, and this is our journey to document the history of mixed martial arts. I have brought with me my friend, the MMA detective Mike Davis, and together we will preserve the history and hear some great stories from the world in the era of the no-holds-barred. Thank you and enjoy.
Welcome back to the Lytes Out MMA History Podcast. I am Joey Venti. With me, as always, the MMA detective Mike Davis. We have a special episode for you today. This guest goes way back to the beginning of the sport. He's a veteran of UFC 1, but as we'll learn, he's been mixing martial arts since 1987. I know him as Zorro, but most of you will remember him as Art One Glove Jimmerson. Art, my friend, thank you for being here.
Thank you guys for inviting me on the show, man. I really appreciate it. First, let me say thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I also thank you guys for allowing me to, tell my side of the story about the UFC 1, and also let the world know this is the 30-year anniversary. I'm so excited because can you believe it's been 30 years, man? 30 years. It's crazy.
Right, 30 years. So I am the host of the show, Mike Davis. Just so you guys understand, Joey Venti, a lot of times you're going to see him moving around on his screen. He kind of follows along on the records, kind of keeps everything in track in case, or looks things up in case something is a little off. Joey, you line this one up. I sincerely appreciate it. Truly an honor, Art. So truly an honor having you here. So why don't we start with we're going to do a little brief outline before we hit UFC 1. And what I think what's important to me is that you were the 1983 National Golden Gloves champion.
Yes.
With that is incredibly difficult, especially in that era. Why don't you explain, your experience as an amateur? Because that alone is pretty intense.
Yes. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, a town called University City. And I grew up in a town basically where me and my friends leather box. And we got challenged one time. A guy threatened us to go to the gym. We went and we just never left. And the funny part about it is that growing up in St. Louis, I live in a middle class neighborhood, mom and dad, and pretty middle class family. And I was just a really nice kid. And, I got picked on a whole lot. So when we started boxing, man, it was so fun because I didn't win in the beginning. I lost a lot of fights in the beginning, but it taught me how to become a winner. And once you win, it becomes addictive, man. It's like, I want to win again. So in 1983, when we went to the Golden Gloves, I was able to, by the grace of God, win the Nationals. And that year I won. Mike Tyson lost in the finals. It was so funny because I was on the phone with my girlfriend from St. Louis, telling her, hey, look, this is my boy Mike. He lost. Maybe he'll do better in the future. I kind of pat him on the shoulder and say, Mike, you do better in the future. But we were really good friends. We got a chance to jog together. We got a chance to talk about personal things. And like I said, he lost in the finals that year. But we knew we had something special in our presence because this guy was just awesome, man. I mean, he was 16 years old fighting, like grown man. And I remember the first time when we got together, he introduced me to Kevin Rooney and Chris D'Amato. And at that time, like I said, I was still young, coming up. I really didn't know who they were, but they're all legends now. So,
well, here around legends, St. Louis, you had Alfonso Ratliff, you had the Michael and Leon Spinks.
Yeah.
Did you run in those circles as well?
Yes, I mean, I'm so blessed because when I did turn pro, I was able to give Michael Spinks a couple of rounds after he retired. We got a chance to spar about 4 or 5 rounds, and I had Lewis Howard, Vincent Webb, a couple of other names, William Guthrie, another champion, Arthur Johnson, Greg Norwood. We had a lot of champions from out of St. Louis, man. Carl Daniels, also Spinks, Corey Spinks, and also Devin Alexander. All those guys came from there too. But it was just so cool to be able to be in the era, man. Also, say I'm from St. Louis and be among them guys.
Right. So you win the National Golden Gloves Championship. Why didn't you parlay this into an Olympic spot?
Well, all right. So what happened is that after I won the National Golden Gloves, the Olympics was the next year. I won in '93. The next year was '94. Man,
right.
just the talent we had. I mean, we had so much talent in each weight division, and if you weren't like on key, man, I mean, you had to really like fight for spots on that '84 Olympic team. It was like one of the best teams of all time. So in my spot with Virgil Hill, I lost Virgil Hill on the decision. But like I said, that whole team was just, I mean, if you actually got on that team, you earned it.
Yeah, it was the Schultz brothers too in the wrestling. That was the Schultz brothers year as well. Oh. Yeah, I mean, across the board, the United States really represented that your track as well. So it was,
and that year we had Pernell Whitaker, Mark Britton, we had that whole '84 team was just I mean, magnificent, man. It was.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't we go into, Joey, we had dug up some footage about you fighting Don the Dragon Wilson. How would you describe that? It was like a kickboxing versus boxing match.
You know what? That fight is so crazy because I was hoping it never got out, right? So back in I came out of California in 1985, right? I turned pro. I had a doctor in San Diego investing me like $115,000. These guys was in love. I always been blessed, man, with good managers. So Don Wilson at the time, he was like a legend kickboxing champion, but he wanted to try to convert over to boxing. So I'm at the 108th Street gym training, and they bring him in. They say, hey, this guy wants to spar with somebody just to see if he wants to, cross over to boxing. So we gave him about 4 or 5 rounds. I busted my bad, man. I had his nose bleeding and everything, right? So I guess he figured it wasn't that easy becoming a boxer, right? So fast forward about I guess 5 years later, I'm going through a hiatus with my managers, and I made a phone call saying, hey, they have an exhibition fight in Florida. They wanted like I think $1,500, just to get some found money. Won't be your boxing record, but basically, it'll be get some kickboxing. So lo and behold, all that kickboxing, who could this guy be, right? So they well, or it just be just some fun just to do, and but they want somebody who has a good background. So I said I do it. So they flew me down to Florida. I'm down there, and I see it's Don Wilson. At the time, because they had to put 2 and 2 together, and the rules was he supposed to kick like 5 times around. Kick no more than 5 times around. Of course, he did way more than that. And nothing against Don. Don's a legend. Guy's awesome. I mean, man, this guy's so talented. And but I think in our fight, I think he broke the rules because he was allowed only to kick like 5 times. He kicked me so many times, man. By the 8th round, my knee was so swollen like a watermelon. So that's the only reason the fight stopped. But in the beginning of the fight, he dropped me a couple of times, and like I said, I got changed. I busted his ear. He told me I busted his ear wrong. But it was just something he did. Just some like something new for the fans. The key was if a boxer met a kickboxer in an alley, who would win. So they kind of promoted it that way.
Okay, so there was a special rule. Don Wilson heavily edited the video and inserted himself in doing little interviews in between some of the rounds. And one of which he said the rules were he wasn't allowed to kick you more than 4 times in the legs per round.
And if you see the fight, he kicked me like 100 times, especially in my right leg. So it's like, again, nothing against him. And just say he had to do what he had to do, So, he did what he did.
Okay, was there rules against you punching him in the face?
No, nowhere. And I don't think there were. But the thing about it, I couldn't kick because I had boxing shoes on. As a boxer, I couldn't not have shoes on because that's where my strength comes from. But it was just funny how they promoted it because it was a win-win. It was like the Royce Gracie thing. It was a win because I've never been a kickboxer before, and I never had anybody kick at me before. So I was blindfolded.
Okay, all right. It's on the internet. It was interesting to me. It seemed like a little bit of a propaganda piece for Don the Dragon Wilson.
Yeah.
Now, I thought maybe you had done more fights like that because you had the issues with your manager. You didn't box for a year and a half. That's right. According to your record anyway.
Right. So what happened is that, again, going through that period with my manager and trying to, secure things. Again, the agreement was it wouldn't be on my boxing record, and basically it would be an exhibition, So I'm up for exhibition. I'm up to having fun.
This is pre-internet. Come down here. make them look good. We'll give you $1,500 and ride out. That's what that is.
Yeah. And the other guarantee was if I win, they would guarantee me a rematch for $20,000. That's what really got me right there. I'm thinking to myself, like Royce Gracie, I'm thinking to myself, how can a kickboxer beat me, right? Especially going down there. And our whole game plan was not to look too good hitting the bag because they said, all right, whatever you do, hit the bag like you're a beginner, right? Because this guy, we want to scare him off. So we were trying to intimidate them, but then it backfired because, like I said, he kicked way over 4 times, and also it was a sold out crowd. His best friend was Chris Penn, Sean Penn's friend brother, actor. He was down there with him hanging out. I had a chance to meet Chris. He came over and watched me work out. You know, it was just a lot of fun, man. But the thing about it, we got in that ring. We both, try to be warriors and try to come out the winner. And he just came out on top.
Well, Pat Goosen was the promoter.
Okay. Was he? Wow.
Yeah, the famous Goosen family.
Wow. Yeah. That's my boy, man. Pat's so cool. I met Pat while I was sparring with Michael Nunn. Michael Nunn came to California back in '85. And we in sparring like about 2 or 3 months together. Mike's an awesome fighter, man, Michael Nunn, and good friend of mine.
Michael Nunn recently got out of prison, did
yes.
20 plus years on a federal charge.
Yes. For
a pretend $200 kilo of cocaine by where he may have had a gun, even though there was no proof of it. You guys want to talk about a dual tier system of justice? Michael Nunn is the case that you can make your argument for. What happened to that guy was criminal.
And at the time it happened, he's in a process of talking with Roy Jones about a title fight. Michael had so much. I mean, he was such an ordinary fighter, man. I mean, I had so much talent. I love him as a brother, man. I mean, we were so close, and I hate to see that happen to him.
Yeah, it was terrible, absolutely terrible. So we're going to address 3 fights with him. We're going to talk about your Lenny Lapaglia, obviously your UFC 1. We're going to spend a lot of time there, but also one of my all-time favorite boxers ever, Vassily Jirov. So you fought him as well. So we're going to go through those 3 matches, if you don't mind, Art. Was July 14th, 1988, New York City. Lenny Lapaglia, a man from Chicago, by way of Chicago, is your opponent. I know going into it, they did not believe that you could handle his power.
Right. Well, you know what? At the time, again, 1993, no internet, no web, no Yahoo or Google. So basically, I didn't know who he was. I remember when I was offered a fight. I had just got a new manager, and basically, we both.
Wait. Let me. You don't know who Lenny Lapaglia is at this time?
No.
Oh, so just so everybody knows, Lenny Lapaglia is 31-5 with 29 KOs. At the time, you're 9-5 with 2 KOs.
No. I'm 9-2. What they did was they changed it because they wanted to make me say I had more fights. I was 9-2 and I had 2 losses. You can trace that back to my record. I only had 2 losses.
Okay, I was going off the TV. That's what the video said. Okay, so that you needed more fights to qualify to fight for him. Okay, yes. They're fooling the commission. That's good stuff. That's good shit.
Nothing against you. I get so upset because, like I said, they lied. I mean, if you look at the tape again, you see me and my manager lying, saying, "Come on, guys, he's 9-2, right?" I had just come off my first 10-round fight, and basically they called us and told us, "Look, guys, if you guys don't show up, the whole card's gonna fall because in the boxing match, you have so many rounds for the card to go on." That night, they were like, I think 4 or 5 rounds short. So they said, "Look, we have to pass by anybody to do." So they gave me $3,000 at the last minute. Said, "All right, I'm up to New York fighting a guy named Lenny Lapaglia." I don't know who Lenny Lapaglia. Never heard of him before, but I knew. They brought me in as a tune-up because he's supposed to get ready for a title fight. And some of the people he had knocked out, man, were like good fighters.
So Lenny Lapaglia, why don't we talk about what took place during that bout? Because it's a pretty wild fight to watch. I highly suggest people. It's on YouTube. It's a fantastic watch.
Well. Also, I know a guy. It's so funny because of now the internet and also all the YouTube. A guy sent me a message and said, "All right, this is my all-time 3rd fight. The Lapaglia. The first 2 were like who was it? It was like 2 other fights he had above mine, but he said this was one of the greatest fights he saw." Now, go back. Before I fought Lapaglia, I got the phone call about fighting him, so I kind of tried to find some boxing magazines, see who he was. I think I might find a couple with his name in it, and looked him up, and I knew he was a pretty good fighter. we fly to New York, and
Who set this up? Who was the matchmaker? Who contacted?
Well, I'm thinking, what's this guy name? Oh my goodness,
Johnny.
No, it wasn't Johnny. It was man, I see him on TV a lot because he still does Bobby Goodman. Bobby Goodman.
Okay. Okay.
He did. Bobby Goodman's his promoter. So basically, what happened is that they called us. We agreed to take the fight. So the weight's supposed to be at 175. Okay. So I fly to New York. I'm in Times Square. Ironically, we run into Lenny and his posse. You know, like, and Lenny's such a cool guy. I mean, you know, he's kind of greasy, him and his boys from Chicago. They always want to fight, right? So when they found out who I was, he tried to fight me on the street. He's like, we don't need no ring. We can fight right now, punk. I mean, he tried to call me out, right? I said, come on, man, wait, back up, man. Let's just do it the professional way, right? And it's how he was. It's how he was. He's a really, really fighter. He's a fighter at heart. So we get to the press conference, and he's a trainer. Something happened with his trainer that got arrested for some reason. He dedicated the fight to the trainer. He was doing all kinds of different, talking, kind of really put fear in me, right? And I just remember the whole atmosphere was like, he was like this really, really mean Mike Tyson type of guy that wanted to intimidate his fighters before getting to the fight.
Okay, well, here, Lenny Lapaglia, in essence, he drops his hands several times in your bout because you kept going to the body, and he invited you to throw free punches at his face, hoping to tire you out. What was your thoughts on that, like during the fight?
I knew his plan was to get me tired. I had trained so hard for this fight, and I remember my coach told me, said, "Don't fall for the trick," because this guy, like I said, man, I was doing things in that fight, man. I'm sure only by the grace of God, man. This came out of nowhere, man. I was doing things like parrying, going sideways, stepping to his right, switching with his left, and I didn't know he was converted southpaw. But he has a strong. Whenever you see a guy with a strong left hand, most of the time they're southpaw, like Joe Frazier or Tommy Morrison. These guys have good left hooks because they're southpaws. And Lenny was converted southpaw, so that's his left hook so strong. And that first body shot he hit me with, man, oh my goodness. I almost crumbled over, man. That body shot he hit me with in the first round.
Yeah, no, it was pretty shocking. Like, he literally had you punch him full blast in the face probably about 30 times, and eventually he just crumbled.
Yeah, I think what happened, he was just so arrogant, and again, he's at hometown Italian, and the crowd's going crazy. And
typical Italian.
Hey.
I like that. Keep going, Art.
And I think what happened, the crowd kind of switched on, and it was so funny because, like I said, coming out there, the commissioner came up to me before the fight and said, "Look, Jimmerson, look, man, you only have 11 fights, 9-2. Why are you even fighting this guy?" He said, "Look, I'm telling you right now, we get hit one good shot, we're stopping the fight. We don't want nothing to happen to our committee. So basically, we get hit and get hurt one time, we're gonna stop the fight." So I said, "Well, man, why did you guys bring me in here?" He said, "No," I said, we want you to fight at the same time. We want you to get hurt. You only got 11 fights. You got to go 30-some fights. So then I'll be okay, sir. And then we're in the back dressing room, me and like all the losers, right? Supposedly the losers. So they made all the,
the B-side locker room.
Yeah. I'm in there, man. It's like, da, 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 da. So I got up. I said, "Look, guys, I don't know about you guys, man. I'm winning this fight." They're like, "Oh, man, sit down." I said, "No, you sit down. I'm not winning. I'm serious, man. You guys out here feeling like y'all at some type of cemetery, y'all at a funeral. Say, man, I'm going to win. Watch." And these guys are all like, they're like so depressed, man. I was like, I had to leave the room and go somewhere else.
What about legendary matchmaker Johnny Boz from New York?
Yeah, I don't know. I probably met him several times, but I don't remember anything extraordinary standing out between me and him. He's just a cool guy.
I'll tell you this right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you really want to know about the nitty-gritty 70s, 80s boxing matchmaking from a guy that's a street guy, there's a couple YouTube videos on Johnny Boz out there. I wish there was more. You can go down a rabbit hole just listening to this guy nonstop. He's fantastic. Okay, here. All right, so November 12th, 1993, UFC 1.
All right, I want to say one thing. So
sure.
Go back up a little bit. So when Lapaglia, once the internet came out and things like still getting futurized, I remember I'm on Facebook. I got a text from Lenny Lapaglia. I'm shocked by it. I see his name, like, oh my goodness. ain't talked to the guy in like 20 years, right? He sent me a text, man. It was so awesome because he said, hey, all right, man, it's Lenny, you know, I want to tell you, you got one of the biggest heart you got one of the biggest heart I've ever known, man. It's an honor to fight you. And then about 2 weeks later, he passed away.
Yeah, but he passed way too young, like in his 50s.
Right. He told me, but right before he passed away, he told me, he said, man, the honor of fighting you. And also, he said I had one of the biggest fights he'd ever fought. I thought
That's
that was
cool.
so cool. I said, Lenny, man, you know, it's an honor fighting you, man. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to fight you. And then I found out he passed away, man. It really hurt me a lot. Yeah, it did. I mean, he really, really got me. He really was.
Well, you guys form a bond. Whenever you step through those ropes or through the cage door, there's a bond. Whether it's always going to be there, you guys will always be forever connected.
And another thing that happened is that when I left that night, as I got out of the ring, they had to escort me out because, you know, Italian guys, come on.
Dude, I know exactly how they are. Yes.
The police had to escort me out because the crowd, I think the crowd switched on, but his mother in the audience, she passed out. She passed out, his mom. Yeah, in the audience. And I think they were so mad at me, man, because I had won. And it wasn't bad, like in a bad way. I think the crowd just like switched on because at first they were like for him, but then he started hitting me low, hit me after the bell. I mean, he started doing all kind of dirty stuff, man, with his shoulder. I mean, it was to the point where, you know, this is like old school stuff, man. You shoulder jerk and then, you know, hit me low and all kind of stuff. But I think the crowd changed after a while and got on my side. And then once I won a fight, I mean, it was so funny to see the police, like 4 or 5 police come over and escort me out. I'm like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, what are you guys doing? I said, we got to escort you guys for what? And they're like, don't go back into the arena because, you know, these guys were like so mad because I don't know if they bet money or what, man. But I was like, I mean, I felt like, man, are you serious? I mean, it's like my win turned into a loss because I'm thinking, I won. I should be happy, right? But I'm like being fearful, man. And then, like I said, once I found his mother, she had fainted in the fight. Like, I felt so bad because of back, you know, your mom, there, man, come on. She fainted.
Joey,
you know?
Italians and gambling, I don't think those two go together.
They go together occasionally. Now, an Italian mom passing out in the stands makes complete sense to me. That's not a surprise. And his friends wanting to beat you up after, also not a big surprise.
Yeah, it's not shocking. Not shocking. Joey, you actually, I think you watched that with your father growing up.
Anytime there was an Italian who was up and coming and making a name for himself in boxing, my dad would put me in front of the TV. And one day he put me in front of the TV to see this good Italian boy, Lenny, beat this other guy up. And the first couple of rounds, my dad looked like he knew what he was talking about. And then it didn't end that way. It didn't end very well for old Lenny. Art had to walk through some fire, but he got it done.
Yeah. Absolutely. Fantastic win. You're the 8th ranked boxer at cruiserweight at the time Royce Gracie fight. It takes place. Why don't we talk about how you got to UFC 1? The rumor was Campbell McLaren flew to St. Louis to talk to you. Is that true?
I don't remember that. I mean, it might have happened, but I don't remember. I remember that I got a phone call. There's a guy named Ernest Hart. He's kind of like a legend in St. Louis. Came to kickboxing and boxing. Cool guy, Ernest Hart. He kept telling me over the months, you know, when you see me, I would go to, like, you know, the movie theaters. I love the movies with my family. I'll see him there periodically. He said, "Oh, I got something big you want to be interested in." And I said, "Cool." You know, like I say, in any sport, if you're a boxer, kickboxer, whatever, you know, everybody knows each other. So I remember he kept telling me this. Finally, came to me and said, "I got this tournament coming out called UFC, No Holds Barred." I mean, at the time, like, I didn't know what that meant. So I went to my boxing trainer. He said, "All right, look, if you want to do it, you can do it, but I don't want a part of it because it's like a joke. You know, these guys talking about no rules. Yeah, he don't want a part of it. This is my real boxing trainer." So after talking about it, I got my manager, two lawyers, young lawyers. We had just signed a contract too. They said, "All right, you know, it's found money. It's not going to be in your boxing record. If you want to do it, you can do it, you know." So the first thing they did, they were giving everybody, I think, $1,000. At the time, I had a 15-fight winning streak. I hadn't lost in 3 years, and I'm number, like, I think 11, either number 11 or 8. So I beat Lapaglia.
You were number 8.
Okay, so Lapaglia was number 7 in the Royal. I beat him. So basically, we took that and rolled with it, man. We had a 15-fight winning streak, and I remember they got offers from Tommy Hearns, type of Michael Moore, about title fights, right? So I'm thinking to myself, well, where's my record? They said, "No, I won't even be in your boxing record. It's just something, you know, for you to do." So I agreed to it. We said $10,000. They'll give me about $1,000 because of my name. They'll give me $10,000. But once I found out how my birth was, I said, "Oh no, no way, we're not gonna do this." So they said we're gonna sue you because right now we got your name on the posters, with your name on the pictures, you know. But look, let's do this. We'll give you $20,000 and you do it. Finally, my manager said, all right, you know, it's final money, man. It's not being a record. It's up to you if you want to do it. So I said, we'll do it. And that's how it all started.
Okay, so there was a rumor that you were offered a percentage of the company for 20,000.
What happened is that once I got to Denver, me, Royce, all the UFC one, contenders. I think they were. I think they were afraid because this is the first time thing ever happened. It's like they were scared because they didn't have no money, man. I mean, like I said, they had all this money out, but at the same time, they had a big arena. I don't think they had a lot of confidence about how good it would do. So they took them to the side. They said, all right, seriously, man, we just don't know how it's going to do. So right now, when you take a percentage of the UFC, also $10,000 or whatever, we can work out. And my manager, I'm serious, listen to me, quote unquote, his exact words were, all right, this is a lawyer, right? A lawyer who I trust. So, all right, look, this thing is two-boy bird. It ain't going nowhere. Take the money and run. And that night, they gave me $20,000 in cash, right? I mean, $20,000 in cash. But they smiled and were giving it to me because it was sold out, standing room only. They knew they had a big hit. They knew it. Think about it. If I had got 1%, man, how much would I be getting right now, you know? So I just didn't know. I just didn't know.
Wow.
Nobody knew.
No, nobody knew. No. And you know, the sponsors that were the Gold's Gym sponsors, first fight, Taylor Latuli gets his teeth kicked out in their direction. They stood up and left.
Yeah. And that's my boy. We just came back from Vegas about a couple months ago. They invited me, all the UFC one
alumni.
Yeah, all we got around to Vegas, and it was so cool seeing Royce. I see Royce in there. It was so cool seeing Taylor. I hadn't seen him since UFC one. Seen Zane Frazier, of course, Pat Smith passed away, and Kevin was there passed away. But Ken was there, I was there, Royce was there, Zane was there, Taylor Tula was there, and also one more.
Was Gerdo there?
Yes, he was there. Yeah.
No way.
So listen. So that's my boy, man. That's my boy. So it happens that listen, before I forget, go on YouTube, right? After our phone call, there's a video of me fighting Gordo and also me fighting Taylor Tula in a cartoon. Somebody made a video of us fighting together. It's so crazy, man. I searched the internet here and there. I can't believe somebody put a video of us in the ring actually fighting together as like a video game. It's so cool. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So anyway, what happened is that we're all giving each other hugs, man, high fives, and they treated us so well, man. They gave us a gold watch with the word UFC one on it. They gave us money, a lot of money. They gave us clothes, jackets. They gave us what else? All kinds of different memorabilia, man. It was so cool, man. They gave us a big flag. It came in the mail. It was so big. My mailbox, a PO box, probably, all right, the big package for you. I went and got it. It's a huge plaque of all of us on UFC one fighters. It's amazing. It is. So they wanted to treat it so well because it's 30th anniversary, and brought us down. They're doing a special called Table Talk. We all sat around, had a big cake, had all kinds of different so many surprises, man, gifts, and we sit there and talk for like about an hour or two about how we got in UFC, and it's supposed to be coming out in November.
Okay, so let's talk about the pre-fight meeting. Well, here, how about hotel and things of that nature? Did they make you have a roommate, or did they give you your own hotel room?
But what happened is that, so again, with me being like, I want to, again, nothing against the other guys. I love them all. They're my boys, man. But I guess with me kind of sticking out being the number 8 guy in the world, they were like surprised they got me because, like I said, I had a fight coming with Tommy Hearns like in about 2 months for a title. So it's like, I didn't even need it. So, man, it's like, you know how they say, what is it? A pig, they feed you like a pig so that they can for the slaughter. Well, yeah, they brought me in there, man. They gave me a sweet, man, red carpet. I mean, it feels like we were kings, man. Me and my wife went and basically, it's like, anything we wanted, we had.
All right. So pre-fight, let's talk about the pre-fight, the legendary pre-fight meeting.
Yes.
Where were you at in regards to the dissidents and maybe some confusion of the rules?
I didn't care. I was getting $20,000 guarantee. I didn't care. Because like I said, I was making that kind of money anyway. I was making between 20. I was making that kind of money in boxing. So me to make it in just like a kick tournament, a kickboxing tournament, this was a joke to me. I mean, going into this tournament, I was so embarrassed because I'm like, I couldn't believe that I had agreed to do it. But again, $20,000, I'm like, you know what? Of course I'll do it, right? But the thing about it is that I didn't, who is Royce Gracie? Man, I never heard no Royce Gracie. I never heard jiu-jitsu. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm a killer guy, right? Plus, when I saw him, Royce would not even look at me. Again, I love Royce, no disrespect to him, but just that he's like a child, man. A guy asked me one time, he said, a reporter said, all right, what do you think about him? I said, like a child. He thought I was like childish. I thought he was like a kid. And me being a fighter, right, a real fighter, I can look in a person's eyes and see the fear. I didn't see fear, but I seen like nervousness. You know what I'm saying? And Royce told me, "Oh, you the first guy I ever fought." I said, "I had exhibitions, but you're the first guy I ever fought." And I'm telling you, man, this guy proved all this wrong. He did. I love him. Man, like I said, we're very good friends. I have his personal phone number, but it's just the fact that when we came in, he took over the show, man. I'm so proud of him because he wasn't intimidated about my record or about me, being a world class fighter or about any of us. He came out there and did what he had to do.
Okay, well, here let's talk about a little bit of the gamesmanship. They had refused shoes to Ken Shamrock. Yeah, he's on record stating that. Did they go over your equipment with you? You only had one glove on.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that interaction like?
So what happened is that, all right, so going to the fight, again, we had the meeting. Of course, the meeting, everybody started fighting at the end of it. But I didn't encourage. Like I said, again, I knew what I was getting. I was guaranteed $30. Again, these guys only getting 1,000. I was guaranteed 20,000 plus. I thought, no lie, I thought it's gonna be easy money. I'm gonna walk out with $50,000, $70,000, but $50,000 was the prize. I thought I'm gonna knock Royce out first, but second, I'm gonna knock him out. Then I'm gonna just run to the tournament, right? That was my thought. And we went to the rules meeting. Like I said, once everybody started fighting about whatever, I walked out and basically the night of the fight, they asked me that one word shoot. They said, of course, being a boxer, I have to have the tension, or I have to have the fucking, the mat where I can punch and get more power with shoes on than not shoes. So, and I remember when I got there, we were in the dressing room, and it was this thing, man. It's like you remember the movie Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. You know how when he walked in and they said, "Mr. Lee, are you ready? He's ready for his opponent." It's like the same thing, man. They have my name on my own dressing room door, the Art Jimmerson, and walk in, man. He start kind of doing condiments, and I'm in there, and then usually me being like one of the top fighters in St. Louis at the time, I fought the main event all the time in St. Louis. So what I would do to kind of relax me, I'd go out in the crowd, like, 3rd or 4th fight, just to get warmed up and sit in the crowd and just like, enjoy the fight. And then once it's time for me to fight, I'm ready to go. Same thing with this fight. I was the 3rd fighter of the night. So the first 2 fights, I was in the audience, sitting down watching with the hood on and just looking at the fight. I'm like, oh my goodness, what I should give myself into, right? Because the guy, Keith, gets knocked out. The other guy had the asthma attack. So I go back to the dressing room. My manager literally come back there crying, saying, all right, let's go. This guy's a lawyer. So I'm a lawyer. We got your back. Let's go, man. Superberg. We don't want you to get hurt. You got a family. But you got a big fight coming with Tommy Hearn. Let's just go. I said, no, man. I said, my words out there. I said, not only that, I signed a contract. I don't want nobody.
And you got the cash. And you got the cash. And you got the cash.
Yeah. I said, let's do it, right? So I'm back there. Here comes back. Who walks in the dressing room? Kevin was there, right? Taking his chin, doing like this, man. His chin, he popped his bone in his chin from fighting Zane Frazier. Punched him. Like, his chin came out, socket came out of place. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, So finally, it's my time to fight, right? They say, like I say, Mr. Lee, your time, right? Like Bruce Lee, Mr. Lee, and Mr. Jimmerson, your time to fight. So I'm ready, right? So I get in the ring, and it's like I said, the tension is so thick, you can cut through it with a knife. I remember I'm in the ring, and here come Royce, like with about 10 brothers, right? Like the Jackson 5, their hands on their shoulders, right? Walking out. The
Gracie train. The Gracie train. Yeah, that's what I'm
that by itself made me like, what the heck going on, right? I'm like, what did I get myself into, right? So here he comes, like, it really is a mental picture because it messes you up mentally because it's like, hey, man, I'm fighting him, I'm fighting all the brothers, right? It's like a train. So Royce gets in the ring, I'm in the ring, I see, I'm trying to get his eyes back. I'm thinking, if I get his eyes, get him nervous, I got him, right? So of course, they introduced me first, Art Jimmerson, St. Louis, blah, 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 blah. And they said, no, blah, blah, blah. And only 2 people clapped, right? My manager and my trainer on the corner, right? Only 2 people clapped. When they said Royce's name, the place erupted. I mean, I had to hold on to the fence. It was so loud, right? Because everybody knew who Royce was. I'm thinking to myself, who am I fighting, right? Because like, they just talk 50-1, he's a jiu-jitsu black belt, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, man, I can't believe I got stepped into this. So I walked up to the middle of the ring. He walks to the middle of the ring. And then Dean fights on him. Now my plan was to basically jab a couple times, just get him, well, like any other fight, just see what's coming. This guy's kicking at me. I'm looking at the referee. The referee, he's cheating, he's kicking. But then, like I said, my wires all mixed up. And the referee saying, "I'll keep fighting. It's legal." I'm like, man, but he's actually kicking at me, right? So Royce, so smart. I mean, he's kicking so it's like faster than the jab, man. Like double kick, triple kick, and then finally, at about a minute after kind of like throwing each other out, Royce, what he did was legendary. He went up with a feint, then went down. And now that I kind of know all the terms now, he
takedown.
Yeah, takedown, right? Takedown, and then rolled me over. Now, Royce is only like what 150, right? I'm 200 some pounds, right? I'm thinking to myself, how can I not like push him off me, right? What he did was it's called a leg lock. When he comes in, he shoots you down, takes you down, but he takes your legs and locks the legs in. What's that called?
Double leg takedown?
Double leg takedown, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't know about no double leg takedown, right? So he locks my legs, and I'm thinking to myself, man, who's holding my legs, right? In my mind, I'm saying, who's holding my legs, right? So I'm holding them, and my thing was keep them close to me, right? Now, John McCarthy, before the fight, right? He told me,
wait, slow down. This is very important.
Yes.
Big John McCarthy comes to your locker room before the fight.
Yes.
Let's give this the proper attention. Big John McCarthy, currently, I think he was a brown belt under Royce Gracie. Royce Gracie student by the name of Big John McCarthy shows up in the locker room. What happens?
Nothing against John. I love John. John's my boy, right? I mean, he's like my boy.
Is he your boy?
Yeah, we're real cool. Man, I just saw him at one of the fights here in California. He just gave me
well, I hope he apologized first, but go ahead. Tell him what Big John did.
What John did, I think I didn't know he was part of the Gracie family. I didn't know.
Convenient for him.
Right, so I'm making a reference, right? So John came to me. He tried to intimidate me by saying, "Hey, all right, man, I don't know how you're gonna win this fight because these guys are gonna do this, gonna choke you out." I'm saying, man, he can't get past my jab. I'm doing my jab from him right. I'm doing 1-2. I'm saying, look, he can't get past me right. But I know his intentions were preferring me or put some type of doubt in my heart so that if I go out there, I wouldn't be like 100% me. And it didn't work, but it did kind of work because in fact, he kept saying it's the whole thing where we get your neck, you're gonna choke you out, right? And I'm thinking to myself, what's the choke out? Because this is all foreign to me. I don't know about no choke out, about no ground and pound, about no whatever. So we're talking. We're all getting like into an argument. I'm telling him, man, you guys cannot beat me, right? We're like the real argument. Finally, when in the fight, I just remember his boy saying things like, don't let me your neck, but your neck is choke it out. So once Royce got me on the ground, I just grabbed him and held on to him. And man, looking back at the fight, I could have easily just like wham my hand back, punched him in the face. But again, like I said, so but I didn't know. We kind of knew the rules, we didn't know the rules because as a boxer, I have to be up, like I can be punching, go punches. Once you down on the ground, it's like a bug on the back. I didn't know what to do. So once he got me on the ground, even Jim Brown, the great football player, I talked to him before the fight. He said, "All right," he said, it's like it's really unfair because you're a boxer. If the guy gets you on the ground, it's like a fish out of the water. So and also Royce's theory was, I think they said once you get on the ground, everybody's the same weight. So there's no weight because everybody once you're on the ground, it's like a limit. It's like a limited weight.
Joey, I wonder how many locker rooms Big John visited that day, telling them about these issues that they may incur.
Whoever was up with Royce next, I don't know.
We need to get. Hey, Art, you got Gilbert? You got Gerard Gordeau's phone number?
Yeah.
Man,
can I have it?
I got everybody's phone number. You know what? Let me say this. Do you know what's so funny? So funny.
Hey, wait, hold up. That's for Big John McCarthy. That right there.
Yellow card.
He's got a yellow card. Sorry, I've been waiting to pull that out for about 5 shows now. Sorry, go ahead.
What's so funny is this, all right? I don't feel like I'm a legend or anything special, right? I'm just a boxer, right? I'm sure. I mean, I'm so humble, right? I'm so humble the love you guys show me, even you guys show me on your show. So, again, 3 things: church, home, my family. Okay. Now,
3 very important things. 3 very important things.
The Target here in California, right? Target, right? In Culver City. Okay. Now, I always say, God, I know you're playing for me there, but I was expecting something from guy for favor, right? So I walk in the Target, right? Target here in Culver City, and you don't see guys with big ears, cauliflower ears. I know they're fighters. So when I see a guy like that, I'll say, you must be a fighter. A lot of them walk around, turn around like, real like, yeah, I'm a fighter, man. Why you want to know, right? With his girlfriend, right? And I'll say something like, I'm an ex-fighter also. Once they tell me who I am, they're like, oh man, oh my goodness, now they're real humble, right? And it's just kind of cool because, like I said, I don't think about myself being a legend or anything like that, but it's funny how UFC gave me so much love. So I'm in Culver City, and I see this guy with cauliflower ears. When I'm ready to approach him, just tell him basically, like I said, all the fighters, who must be a fighter. The guy comes over to me, a bodyguard comes over to me back and say, oh man, back up, he's with his family. Say, back up, he's with his family. What do you mean? Turns around, it's Conor McGregor. So he sees me, and he says, yes, hey man, I'm with my family. I said, oh, no problem, man. I said, look, I just want to tell you, I'm also a fighter. I'm a fighter also. So I say my name, Art Jimmerson. He goes, oh my goodness, Art Jimmerson, man, can I get a picture with you? And I felt so humble because I was like, here's Conor, he's a picture, right? I said, sure, Conor, come on, man, we got a picture together. And then on the way out, he asked me, put it on Instagram. So I don't care, man, right? Put it on Instagram. So after that, we started chatting on Instagram here and there. I did invite him to church, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he didn't want to go, but I guess he had other plans. But it was so cool to meet him. Like I said, I had met him years before that, but it was my first time like meet him one-on-one. He's such a cool guy, man. And I go outside, and they had a bodyguard with a truck waiting on him, and it was so cool. It's so crazy how that happened.
Wow. I'm sure the person that was with them was the USADA guy, just waiting to collect a sample so we could fight in December.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
all right, let's talk about after. Let's talk about after the fight. Right. You go back to the locker room. I mean, what's it like there?
Wait. So before that, let's go back one step. So before that, I'm in my locker room, and the fight's gonna fight in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So knowing I got a fight coming up with Tommy Hearns, my main concern was, at a big money fight, I don't want to hurt my hands, right? Because I got, I'm thinking, they told us, look, all right, you need to wear a hand wrap. If you wear a hand wrap, you cannot wear a hand wrap. You have to make sure your knuckles are showing. These people are like serious. They want to hurt each other. So what do you mean my knuckles showing? Because I can't hurt my hands. And no, sir, you can't wrap them like without the knuckles being hidden. So they made sure when we wrapped our hands, the knuckles were showing. It was like that crazy. So I said, well, look, I'm not fighting like that. I said, I want a glove. See, what do you mean you want a glove? So I want a glove. So I said, well, look, you want to wear 2 gloves, and I want to wear 1 glove with my left hand. So that way, when I hit Royce, I was going to feel the soft part of the glove, and finally, I'm going to knock him out with my right hand, right? That's what I thought. You know what I'm saying? So at the last minute, I went and got a glove, and I put the glove on, and that's where the 1 glove came from.
Okay, that's good. So the rumor was that they were going to either invite, there's other people that they were negotiating with, Leon Spinks being one of them, and Bone Crusher Smith. And you're the one that obviously got the fight. Were you aware that there was other boxers that they were in communication with?
I was told. I think even by Art Davies that they had John Van Call. Am I saying his name right? John Van Call. Also, I heard it. Chuck Norris. I heard that it was a lot of big names that Art offered even before Leon Spinks and the other guy. But I didn't know. I didn't know none of that time. I didn't know it.
Okay. So let's talk about the locker room afterward. What's the feeling like walking back from the Royce Gracie fight?
So that night they had a thing called a masquerade party, where basically they gave us different costumes, right? So everybody went home, showered. If you look at some of the pictures, I have pictures on my Instagram or Facebook. I have everything categorized where you can see what it says UFC after party. I'm there having a masquerade party, and I'm like, everybody's dressed up. And it was funny because you can see all the damage from everybody. And I didn't have no damage, but it was so funny because at the after party, it was pretty cool. I didn't get a chance to just. But I felt so bad. My wife kept saying, "What do you?" I actually cried, man. I actually had a tear or two. She said, "What are you crying for? It's even your sport. Why are you crying?" Because I hadn't lost in 3 years, 15 fights. It hurts to lose. I don't know who you are. It hurts to lose. And I said, I don't want to lose. Yeah, but it's not even your sport. It's like they brought you in here on pretense. Also, it's like a blindfold. Why are you crying? I feel so bad because, like I said, winning can be addictive, man. It was for me. It was addictive.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's one of two things: either You love winning or you hate to lose. One of those weighs heavier with a person.
And then about, I guess it's about about a year or two later, I got invited to Japan. Japan, be a sparring partner for another fighter who had a title fight coming up. I'm over in Japan. I can never forget this. I walk into 7-Eleven, true story, 7-Eleven. I see my picture and Royce's picture on the front cover of this magazine, right? Over in Japan. So I open it up. They got me, some famous movie guy from Japan. So I asked one of the workers there, I said, can you do me a favor? Read this for me. What does this mean? Because it's a Japanese magazine. He goes, oh, all right. It means they're saying that you're at a masquerade party, and out of all the fighters that came out of UFC 1, you're the only one who came out with a clean face. A clean face. I was sitting there smiling like this with the guys come around.
That's funny. That's funny. So the after party was cool. I had heard that Rickson Gracie's wife was pretty angry with him because he was not in there and Royce was.
You know, Art Davis said something. Well, I read something. Art Davis said this. Me and Art Davis real cool. I think what happened is that they wanted the most like the most shyest, the most weakest guy in their family to do it. And then Royce, you know, he was that. I mean, he had a childlike face, and basically, you know, he hadn't had all the experience that all the other fighters had. So basically, the perfect choice, man. Perfect choice.
Art Davey, and in our interview, these are his words, not mine, also said that Rickson Gracie was caught stealing private lessons, and as a punishment, he was not allowed to be, participate in UFC 1. His words, not mine. Okay. June 12th, 1997. It's your 11th pro fight of the year. A man that I don't think gets enough recognition for his battles as an amateur as well as professional. Vassily Jirov is your opponent. How does that fight come together?
Basically, I always wonder, right? Looking at the great fighters, even Great Robinson or a lot of great fighters, they have like they're great fighters, right? But a lot of times in their career, see a lot of losses. Not a lot of them, but a few losses. You wonder why they take their losses, right? But a lot of times, not saying them, but with me, to the point where, this is our full-time jobs, man. And think about it, once you get to a certain age, to the point where, when they offer you, 50,000, 100,000 or more for a fight, this is like all you do for a whole living, it's like your only choice, right? I mean, of course you can say no, but here you are. And they always make sure to speak at the right moment. You're not in shape, but when you're in between fights, or if you need the money, So having a family and needing money, man, a lot of fights at the end of my career to the point where I did go out there try to win, but it made it harder because it caught me at a time where I wasn't even in shape or basically, trying to take care of my family. So when I got to talk to Jirov, I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he was. Awesome fighter, strong guy, and
you were 33-10 at the time.
Yeah. And again, going out there, we see the fight. I think at the last minute, I think it was like more of a. I don't even think I had a monthly raise fight. And
but he's an Olympic medalist.
Yeah.
Highly touted.
Yes.
Big body puncher.
Yes.
And he's just so everybody at home knows, this is a guy that his mother gave him to the boxing coach, and he lived with the guy that made him run down hallways with German shepherds fighting him, made him row over a mile into the Black Sea, had him get out, motored back in, with his teammates. You're talking about somebody that grew up in a training camp where his training partners often, not just say often, guaranteed some of them didn't make that swim.
Yeah. You know what? Did you see the fight between him and James Toney?
Yes.
Freaking dude, amazing. It's one of the greatest fights I've ever seen, man.
Exactly. So James Toney, I had an opportunity to squad with him. Me and James, really good friends. James, my boy. Came here and he fought in St. Louis against a guy named Charles Oliver. I hung out with James a lot, him and his manager, Jackie Callan at the time from Detroit. And I think we got a chance to spar a couple of times, but this guy is so up. James Toney is freaking talented. This guy is amazing, man.
James Toney has very little wasted energy. And he's dirty. He's grimy. He's the definition of the Philly shell is James Toney.
Yeah, yes. The thing about James was, I think he's so underrated for his talent. And I think what happened, I think he did it to himself because he had so much talent, man. But I don't think he really put like so hard. When he was younger, he did. But the older he got, he kind of get kind of lazy. That's my boy, man. I love him. I just think that he has so much talent, man, to the point where I mean, it's like he never trained. He was in fights, you know. He's just talented.
If James Toney was disciplined,
Yes,
he'd be one.
yes.
He would instead of being in the top 25, which he is, he'd be in the top 3.
You know, I'm glad you
Ever.
said it, not me. You said it, not me. Okay. Boy, being
I mean, it's like the guy had 3 different careers, and every single time when everyone threw the towel in on him, he came back and surprised everyone. James Toney's the man. James Toney's the man.
When he UFC veteran.
When he fought that fight, man, I was so happy for him because, you know, I mean, even Emmanuel Stewart, the great Emmanuel Stewart, Tommy Hearn trainer, he said, I mean, how great James was going to that fight because it was an awesome fight, man. It really was.
Well, Vassily Jirov, man, I mean, he hit you with a lot of body punches.
Yes.
Did you?
Young fighter, strong fighter, and I knew going into the fight. I was hoping I was trying to land one good fight, also intimidate him as a young fighter to like have him go back, but he wouldn't ball. You know, he came out southpaw and hit me with the body shot and got me out of there.
Body failure. Like you turned around and grabbed the ropes. He was just. I mean, you watch the guy. He probably throws 300 body punches. You know, over a 10-round fight. Like he is just a savage when it comes to the body. I've been chasing Vassily Jirov for over 2 years before this podcast even started.
Wow.
I've been trying to get him for an interview. I finally got his phone number. He picked up twice. I'll get him. I'm gonna be that annoying, psychotic ex-girlfriend that never gives up. That's what I'm gonna do with Vassily Jirov.
You know, going back also, I want to mention one more thing. I remember I got a phone call. I followed a guy named Dennis Zambia. Dennis Zambia is a 2-time world champion from Quality. And I went to distance with him after only had 12 fights. And the time I had a manager, we didn't pick that fight, man. I mean, it was like a last pick the fight, and I lost someone in the decision. I got a phone call from Emmanuel Stewart. Emmanuel Stewart is Tommy Herman's manager, right? And
one of the greatest trainers ever to live.
Called me and said, Art, I went to my guy was Tommy. He said, for a couple of weeks or a month, we're getting ready to fight a title fight. We want to use you as a sparring partner. He was so impressed by how I fought this fight with Dennis Zambia. So I go down to Detroit. I'm there for almost a month, right? Working out with I'm working out with me, Joe McKellen. We're working out, and then also I'm Tommy's sparring partner.
So Tommy Hearns, just so everybody at home knows, that's Tommy Hearns.
Yeah, Tommy, he was so impressed with me, man, that at the end of my workout, he took me to the side and said, "All right, I want to sign you." I said, "Huh?" He said, "I want to sign you." He said, "Emmanuel's gonna be your trainer, gonna be your manager." So him and the manager took me to the side and asked me to offer me a contract. At the time, I was already signed with the guy in St. Louis from Anheuser-Busch. So I was like, man, I can't do it. I would love to do it if I can. I'm thinking that might be one of the mistakes I made in my career because they were willing to buy me out. And it was so cool. Tommy, I mean, it's an awesome fighter, man. And to go with him, like I say, 2 weeks a month sparring, for him to come to me and ask me to sign him, I was so honored by that.
Tommy Hearns, man, you know, I don't get starstruck often, but about 10 years ago, I ran into him at a boxing match, and I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Right.
Troy Cobra.
Yes. Awesome. Coolest guy, man. He's so nice. So listen to this. You heard this story. So, I know, I'm at the camp. Emmanuel has 4 or 5 houses in Detroit, right? He owns all these houses, right? So when you have fighters come in, they have somewhere to stay, right? And he lives in a real nice house. So I remember, fighters, we get to live with each other for about a week or two. We become good friends, right? We kind of play jokes on each other. So I got a phone call when one of the fighters inside the apartment, the house I'm in. So, all right, it's a phone call. It's Tommy Hearns on the phone. Hey man, stop playing on Tommy. Yeah, it's Tommy for real, right? Pick the phone up. I go, hey man, say no, Tommy, man. I'm like, I'm real silly, right, man. Don't call me anymore, whatever, right? It was Tommy. Tommy said, all right, I want you to go to the game with me and Isaiah Thomas. We're all going out to fight to the game tonight, to the basketball, right, and watch the game. Oh man, I'm so sorry, Tommy, man. I said, I know what you said. No problem, all right. I said, look, man, I'm with my boy, man. I said, well, we're both going to a dance something tonight. So I don't want to say punk out punk out on them and say yes to you. So no, it's okay, man. You're gonna go to the boys. It's okay, but I'm inviting you to the game. You're gonna come to the game with me and Isaiah. I said no. So then I hung up. My friends were like, oh, maybe you should have went, right? But I was trying to be, honest. I was trying to be honest to them, not go. And now looking back, I was thinking, I was like, I should have went. So yeah.
Let me throw one more. Let me throw one more old school name at you, and then we'll wrap up. Do you remember the old manager, Millard Barnes? He went by Mitt, Leon Spinks's original manager.
Oh man, out of Detroit?
No, he was out of St. Louis.
I said I don't remember him.
He took in like Michael and Leon when they were kids. They didn't really.
Is his name Mitt? M-I-T-T?
M-I-T-T, yeah. Millard Barnes.
All the trainers in St. Louis. I'm trying to figure out. I might not have been. It might have been before my.
I'm not sure he was like a real high-end trainer. He was just a guy that pretty much fed, housed, allowed the Spinks brothers to live with him, because their living situation was, a little iffy.
Wow.
Well, who are we thanking? Who are the guys that made a difference in your life? And that's what we're going to end with.
Fighters?
Man, anybody in your life that made a huge difference, man, that made you who you are today.
My trainer, Ben Stewart, he's passed on now. Man, this guy was like, he's like a father, not only a trainer, but a father. And most trainers are like that. When it comes to their fighters, they're more than just a trainer. They're like, the father. They groom them and basically want to be, trained as a man. And Ben Stewart, out of St. Louis, had so many champions, man. But not only that, but he's a God-fearing man. I went to church with him, and also with the fact that he always taught me how to keep myself focused on what I was doing. So Ben Stewart is one of the guys I gotta say awesome guy.
Art Jimmerson, although you cut your teeth in the boxing world, you're a UFC legend. Joey, why don't you lead us out, man?
Art, you're a big part of MMA history, and I'm proud to call you a friend. And you know what friends do for each other, right? They give each other Gerard Godot's phone number. That's what they do.
Maybe Taylor Tooley's and Taylor Tooley's too. That
would be a great one. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for your time, and thank you for sharing your stories with us. I very much appreciate you being here.
Thank you guys. I'm serious. It's an honor for you guys to invite me on the show, man. Like I said again, it's just an honor, even all these years, man, to still be known as a part of the UFC and a part of the fabric. I'm just really honored by that.
Well, we're doing bookends right now. We had David Isaacs, UFC president, on recently. We've had Bob Meyerowitz, Art Davey. We're getting through the UFC 1 guys. Anybody that's still around, we're trying to track these guys down and get their story.
That's so cool, man. Well, thank you guys so much, man. God bless you.
Don't be a stranger, Art.
Yeah, don't be a stranger, Art. Be good. Joey.
UFC 1 veteran in the books.
You came through, man.
Yeah, took a little doing, but we finally nailed him down.
Yeah. He
and the waitress didn't interrupt too much, so that was good.
No, I know. He's coaching boxing over at UFC gym, and I think in LA, right?
In Torrance, yeah.
In Torrance. So you guys want to go see Art in person? Go to the Torrance UFC gym. Maybe go get a private from him. Man, dude, what's surprising to me is that, dude, he got talked out of taking some shares of the UFC company rather than the money.
But what was the UFC company?
No one would have guessed it would be what it was. It was an absolute circus sideshow, and they made it into a real sport.
Yeah, it would have been awesome to have 1% of that. But if you're a good lawyer, you tell your guy, you take the 20 grand and run. With hindsight, yeah, that's the worst deal you could ever make. But 20 grand is in your hand.
That's wild.
Now, one thing that's interesting is there's a lot of talk about how the Gracies set the UFC up for Royce to win, right? So why did he fight third fight of the night? Wouldn't you want your guy you're favoring to fight the first fight of the night, give him as much rest as possible?
Well, yeah, he answered that. Send John McCarthy in there.
Well, that helped. Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't do both. Give him as much rest as possible fighting him first. But yeah, John McCarthy went in, whispered a little doubts, and he tapped from the mount. he didn't give Royce a chance to give him an arm lock because he just heard it was going to snap his arm.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
he had talks with Hitman. He thought he was going to fight Hearns, and it turns out like they ended up just being sparring partners. I wonder why the fight never went through.
Yeah, I know he had a lot of issues with management. He had like 2 years where he didn't do anything. Like you're right. He had
86 to 88.
Yeah, he had 11 fights in 1 year. Jirov was his 11th fight. And you're looking at a guy that at the time was 33-10. So it's not like he's a perennial B-side that's got a whole bunch of losses in a row.
Right. Well, look at the last part of his career, the last 12, 13 fights where he starts losing because he's getting up in years. He's fighting absolute killers. 24-2, 26-2, 14-0. He's not fighting club fighters. He's not fighting bums. These are all guys on their way up. And, it must have paid well to be fighting guys that were at that level. No.
I agree. Absolutely. Joey, let's go like, share, subscribe. Man, that was some good shit, dude.
I enjoyed it.
Dude, you got to go over to Torrance, get Gerdeau's number. Can you imagine that Gerard? Can you imagine?
I'm going to text him right now.
Can you imagine a Gerdeau interview?
He could be stoic, or it could be the most interesting one we've ever had. It would be great. Dude, Taylor Tua has a great personality. That would be awesome too.
Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. 100%. 100%, man. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up. And
like, share, subscribe.
Thanks, Joey. Appreciate it, buddy.
You got it.
Check out the full interview on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms.